Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, I know that the issue of the CAFOs was raised earlier. One of my colleagues had discussed it with you briefly. I just want to ask some questions regarding that. During the EPA's rulemaking process, can you tell me if USDA raised to OMB and EPA the same biosecurity, food supply, and producer safety concerns that were raised by the Department of Homeland Security?
Our focus in conversations with the EPA about that rule was to try to, consistent with their need to protect the environment, minimize the disruption in livestock operations.
Were those concerns conveyed in writing?
I'm not sure about that. I know what we had was that we have a liaison who comes over to the USDA 2 or 3 times a week to discuss issues, and I'm sure there were verbal conversations. I'm not sure if there was a written message, but I know that there was clearly verbal conversations about this because I was engaged in them as well. In addition, the EPA and the EPA administrator and myself met with livestock groups on a regular basis and had an opportunity to converse about a variety of issues.
Okay, if you have those in writing, I'd appreciate it if you could supply those to the committee. Was USDA aware the EPA was engaged in this effort after the withdrawal of the rule to collect detailed information from livestock and poultry operations across the country, or that they intended to create this comprehensive national and searchable database for the public to use?
Well, I can't speak for the entire 94,000 people that work for USDA. I think we were generally aware of this. Obviously, we're not aware of the fact that this could be released. As it was.
Okay. I guess now the most important thing, now that this information is out, what will you do as Secretary of Agriculture to protect producers and their operations from the possible misuse of this information?
Well, I'm open to suggestions about this, Congressman. Other than basically suggesting that it was an unfortunate circumstance, not sure quite what we could do, but I'm open to suggestions. If you have some suggestions, I'd be more than
okay. I'd love to talk with you about that, maybe offline, but in the interest of time, I've got one more question for you on that particular issue. Can you tell us what steps you can take immediately to ensure that the EPA makes no further releases of that type of data in the future?
Well, I think expressing to them the concern that they had heard from a variety of different sources is probably what we can do and what we have done.
I want to switch gears just a little bit and talk about catfish, food safety issue that's gotten a lot of negative attention recently. I was hoping you could kind of help me clear the air in preparation for the next Farm Bill markup, but I'm kind of running out of time. I want to make this clear here. The 2008 Farm Bill included a provision putting Catfish Inspection Authority under the umbrella of FSIS, aligning catfish food safety standards with the rest of animal agriculture. This program has been repeatedly mischaracterized as duplicative and trade distorting. As you know, Catfish Inspection Authority is simply being transferred from FDA to USDA and is in fact not duplicative. I wanted to question you on how often foreign countries have retaliated against American goods as a result of USDA's meat inspection requirements. I don't know if we have time for you to answer that, but I would like to say that USDA's time on implementing this program never seems to run out. It's been 5 years now almost, and since the 2008 Farm Bill was signed into law, so I think it's about time for the department to get to move on this thing. And if you want to comment on what you know about foreign countries having retaliated against the United States in the context of what I just said, I'd
well, I'm not sure this is going to be responsive to your question, but it's an attempt. We are confronted with barriers almost every week and every month by countries. I mean, APHIS last year knocked down 175 barriers alone just in their department. So there's constant pull and push in trade issues and constant barriers being constructed. Right now we're dealing with Russia and China and ractopamine, an issue that has no scientific basis, where the international community has spoken through Codex, and we still have these barriers being constructed. So that's happening all the time. And I would agree with you, Congressman, that it's time for us to take action on catfish, and I would anticipate that will happen this year.
Thank you. Yield back.